Welcome, adventurer. Today, you step into the shoes of the infamous Jason Voorhees, a figure of fear and dread. With a chaotic evil alignment and an outlander background, Jason is a barbarian of indomitable strength and constitution. He is a force to be reckoned with, proficient in the art of intimidation and survival. Clad in his signature jeans and t-shirt, Jason wields a menacing machete and dons his frightening hockey mask, an image ingrained in the minds of countless victims. This journey takes you back to the haunting town of Rochdale, where Jason's dark past awaits. Be prepared for an unforgettable adventure. Let us begin. As you approach the outskirts of Rochdale, memories of your lost childhood flood your mind. Friday the 13th of October, an ominous date, hangs heavy in the air. The town's high school, the site of fleeting memories, stands before you, an imposing and neglected structure. You can see a flickering light through one of the broken windows. It seems a group of 6 teenagers have taken this abandoned site as the venue for their late-night revelry. In your grasp, the machete feels comfortingly cold, almost inviting. You can hear the distant laughter echoing through the deserted corridors, unaware of your presence. What do you want to do? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Sharky has been chosen. Walk around outside making spooky noises. Channeling your deep, primal instincts, you pace around the exterior of the school, your boots crunching on the fallen leaves. You disguise your presence in the shadows, and begin to emit eerie, bone-chilling sounds that echo in the cold October night. You notice the laughter inside growing quieter as a sense of unease permeates through the merry group. Now, let's see how effective your spooky noises are in rattling the teenagers. Roll a d20 for an intimidation check, using your proficiency. You rolled 12. With your charisma score of 8 and proficiency in intimidation, your total is 14. As your haunting wails persist, the once boisterous laughter from within fades into an eerie silence. You observe a shadow cross one of the school's broken windows, a sign that your presence has not gone unnoticed. The teens are now aware that they are not alone and a dread has descended upon their illicit party. The jovial chatter is replaced by nervous whispers. What do you want to do next? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Base Ape has been chosen. Silently stalk the school to see where the teens are lurking. Treading softly, your tall figure casts an ominous shadow as you circle the high school. The peeling paint and cracked glass are grim reminders of the life this place once held. Through the gloomy interior, you see the teenagers huddled together in the abandoned classrooms, their merriment replaced by apprehension. Some stand guard at the windows, peering into the darkness, while others try to keep their spirits up with forced laughter. The echo of the shared fear fills your heart with a perverse sense of satisfaction. You sense your dreadful purpose reasserting itself. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Bleach Demon has been chosen. Find the old PA system and breath heavily in at the mic, so it echoes through the halls, and wait until they scream and bolt for the door. With your objective in mind, you skulk through the shadowy halls of your old school, the familiar scent of dust and decay filling your nostrils. You remember with a hint of nostalgia the location of the office where the old PA system rested. Soon, your large, gloved hands find the dusty microphone. You take a deep breath and exhale into it, your breathing echoing through the silent halls like the growl of a predator. Let's see how the terrified teenagers react. Roll a d20 for another intimidation check with your proficiency. You rolled 18. With an 18 on the dice, added to your proficiency and charisma score, your total intimidation check is a whopping 20. The result is just as you hoped. Your heavy breathing reverberates through the silent halls, sending a chill down every spine. The teenagers' tentative silence explodes into screams of terror. They scramble towards the doors, tripping over discarded furniture in their haste. Panic ensues as they jostle to escape the building, abandoning their party in favor of survival. The scene is set. The teens are frightened and disoriented, ripe for the picking. What do you want to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Sharky has been chosen. Let them escape. We will follow them wherever they go. Feeding off their fear, you watch as the panicked teenagers stumble out of the school, fleeing wildly into the night. Their screams echo in the silent streets, their desperate footsteps a haunting rhythm in the stillness. You can't help but feel a twisted sense of satisfaction. The hunt has begun. You silently follow them, blending seamlessly into the darkness. Your strong survival instincts guide you, keeping you hidden yet close enough to track their movements. The chase has always been part of the thrill for you. Now, let's see where this fear-stricken group leads you. Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Gather pine cones, then throw pine cones at one of the kids while yelling "I'm a spooky ghost." A wicked grin forms beneath your hockey mask as you pick up a handful of fallen pine cones from the ground. The terrified teenagers are bunched together, huddled in fear and confusion. You throw the pine cones at one of the stragglers and yell in a ghostly voice, "I'm a spooky ghost." Your voice is an eerie whisper on the wind, adding another layer to the terror that's gripped the group. Now let's see how effective your spooky act is. Roll a d20 for another intimidation check, remembering your proficiency. You rolled 3. Despite your intimidating appearance and the eerie surroundings, your total of 5 doesn't quite get the desired reaction. The pine cone attack causes further confusion amongst the teenagers, but your spooky ghost act is met with a few nervous chuckles amidst the terror. It seems the notion of a ghost throws them off more than it scares them. The teenagers, although disoriented and frightened, continue their desperate attempt to escape your terrifying presence. Their fear is tangible in the crisp October air, fueling your desire for the hunt. What do you want to do next? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Tell them you have candy and they can have it if they get in your white unmarked van. Placing your machete by your side, you try a different approach. You call out to the terrified teenagers in a voice that attempts to sound friendly and inviting, telling them you have candy and they can have it if they get in your white unmarked van. This is a risky move, and it's uncertain how they'll react. Let's see how convincing you can be. Roll a d20 for a deception check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 4. With a roll of 4 and your charisma score of 8, your total is 12. Your offer, however, is met with wide-eyed disbelief. The teenagers stare blankly at you for a moment before their fear takes over once more. The mention of an unmarked van does not have the soothing effect you hoped for. Instead, it seems to have added to their horror. Their panic intensifies and they scatter, disappearing into the labyrinthine streets of Rochdale, each trying to put as much distance between themselves and you as they can. The hunt is still on. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Yell "Daddy's hungry" and tell them they will get in the van. The night echoes with your chilling proclamation as you yell, "Daddy's hungry," your voice booming through the empty streets. You again command them to get in your van, your tone leaving no room for argument. The sheer terror of your presence is enough to freeze them in their tracks, their eyes wide with fear. Let's see how they respond to this new threat. Roll a d20 for yet another intimidation check, using your proficiency. You've rolled 3. With a roll of 3 and your proficiency in intimidation, your total is 5. Despite the menacing tone and chilling words, the terror-stricken teenagers are beyond reasoning. The dread in their eyes turns to defiance as they refuse to follow your command. Their instincts scream at them to run, to escape the nightmare that has become their reality. They scatter into the darkness, their pounding footsteps echoing through the silent streets. The hunt is far from over, and the thrill of the chase offers its own dark satisfaction. What do you choose to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Axel M has been chosen. Do a funny dance to charm the teens. In an unexpected twist, you decide to lighten the mood with a dance. You place your machete on the ground and begin to move rhythmically, your large and intimidating form swaying in a strangely captivating manner. This is a bold move, and one that could potentially lower the guards. Let's see how well your dance is received. Roll a d20 for a performance check, considering your charisma score. You've rolled 4. With a roll of 4 and your low charisma score, your total is 12. Your attempt at a dance is far from graceful, your movements more awkward than charming. The teenagers, still gripped by fear, watch in stunned silence. For a moment, the tension is slightly lifted, replaced by a bizarre spectacle. However, the charm of your funny dance does not last long. The teens, reminded of their terror, quickly snap out of their trance and continue the desperate escape. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Sharky has been chosen. Recite some oddly appropriate Shakespeare to charm the teens. Narrate the recitation. With an unexpected twist, you decide to recite Shakespeare, aiming to captivate the terrified teenagers. You take a deep breath and begin, your voice booming into the silence of the night. You recite a passage from Macbeth, quite befitting of the haunting atmosphere. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Your voice resonates through the empty streets, the words hang in the crisp October air, their meaning chilling the apartment. Let's see how effective your recitation is. Roll a d20 for a performance check, considering your charisma score. You've rolled 19. With a roll of 19 in your charisma score, your total comes to 27. Your recitation is surprisingly effective. The haunting words spoken in your deep, resonating voice catch the teens off guard. They halt in their tracks, their fear momentarily forgotten in the face of this unexpected display of eloquence. The once panicked group now stands rooted to the spot, taken aback by your recitation. The atmosphere is charged with a bizarre mix of fear, confusion, and fascination. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Put on a pink wig and pretend to be a nice old woman. Tell them you have candy and will give them hot chocolate if they follow you back to the school. You rummage through your pockets and surprisingly pull out a pink wig. You place it on your head, adjusting it to fit perfectly over your hockey mask. You then begin to imitate the sweet, comforting voice of an old woman, promising the startled teenagers candy and hot chocolate back at the school. This is an unconventional approach, and it's uncertain how they'll react. Let's see how convincing you can be. Roll a d20 for a deception check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 16. With a roll of 16 in your charisma score, your total comes to 24. Your performance is strangely convincing. The teenagers, caught off guard by your transformation and the promise of sweets and hot chocolate, seem to consider your offer. Their fear appears to lessen, replaced by a sense of wary curiosity. Their eyes dart between each other, uncertainty etched on their faces. The atmosphere is tense as they weigh their options. What do you choose to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. Tell them it is the best hot chocolate ever. Sticking to your old woman disguise, you assure them in a warm, coaxing voice that it's the best hot chocolate they'll ever taste. Your eyes twinkle with promise, and though hidden behind the mask, your voice carries a hint of sincerity that is oddly compelling. The promise of the best hot chocolate ever seems to lower the guard a bit further. The teens share hesitant glances, considering your offer amidst their fear and confusion. Let's see how they respond. Roll a d20 for another deception check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 8. With a roll of 8 in your charisma score, your total comes to 16. The teens appear unconvinced. While they are momentarily swayed by your promise of the best hot chocolate, the lingering fear and confusion in their eyes suggest they're not fully ready to take up your offer. Their gaze flits nervously from you to the darkened streets, torn between the promise of comfort and the reality of the terrifying situation. The standoff continues, with the teens on high alert and you trying to win them over. What's your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Axel M has been chosen. Tell them that there will be K-pop music and iPods back at school as well. Sticking to your friendly old woman guys, you add a new lure to your offer. You promise them that there will be K-pop music and iPods back at the school, hoping this modern temptation will sway them. This is a tricky move, trying to appeal to their interests. Let's see how effective your promise is. Roll a d20 for a persuasion check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 13. With a roll of 13 and your charisma score, your total is 21. Your promise of K-pop music and iPods stirs some interest among the terrified teenagers. Their eyes light up momentarily before the fear takes over again. Yet, you can see a flicker of temptation in their eyes, considering your offer. The standoff continues, with the tension hanging heavy in the air. What's your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Joseph Watson Tracy has been chosen. These are teenagers with raging hormones and underdeveloped prefrontal cortexes. Try to get one of them alone with you by promising a hot make-out session. In the midst of the tension, you decide to isolate one of them. Using your best old lady voice, you try to persuade one of the teenagers, promising a hot make-out session if they come with you. This is a bold and risky move. Let's see how your attempt is received. Roll a d20 for a persuasion check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 16. With a roll of 16 and your charisma score, your total comes to 24. Your promise, although bizarre coming from an apparent old woman, seems to pique the curiosity of one of the teenagers. A daring look crosses their face, and they hesitantly step away from the group, eyeing you with a mix of apprehension and intrigue. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation as the teen takes a few more steps towards you. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Take off your mask showing the face of a supermodel. Then as you kiss the teen, bite off their face or wear it as a new mask. In a sudden, shocking move, you remove your hockey mask to reveal the face of a stunning supermodel underneath. The teenager's eyes widen in surprise, but before they can react, you close the gap between you two, pulling them into a kiss. As their surprise turns to horror, you bite off their face in one swift motion, the taste of blood filling your mouth. Pulling back, you tear off their face, preparing to don it as your new mask. Now, let's see how effective your attack is. Roll a d20 for a strength-based attack, considering your strength score and proficiency in combat. You rolled 12. With a roll of 12, your strength score of 20, and proficiency in combat, the total comes to 20. Your attack is successful, and in one swift, brutal motion, you tear off the teenager's face. The others scream in terror, their earlier fascination completely shattered by the gruesome sight. Adorned with your new, grotesque mask, you stand tall, an embodiment of terror. The remaining teenagers scatter in all directions, their screams echoing through the night. Your hunt has only just begun. What do you choose to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Ask the faceless kid if he enjoyed the kiss. Amidst the chaos and screams, you turn your attention back to the faceless teenager. With a twisted sense of humor, you ask if they enjoyed the kiss. The response is a weak gurgle, the teenager collapsing from the shock and pain. Your actions have escalated the terror to a new level, and your harrowing journey is far from over. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser Nerd has been chosen. Eat the kid's brains. With a savage hunger in your eyes, you turn your attention to the collapsed teenager. You lean over their trembling body and, with an animalistic growl, you begin to feast on their brains. The taste of blood and raw tissue fills your mouth, fueling your dark hunger. Now, let's see how well you can keep your composure during this gruesome act. Roll a d20 for a constitution check, considering your constitution score. You rolled 6. With a roll of 6 and your constitution score of 18, your total is 24. Despite the grotesque act, you manage to keep your composure, finishing your grim meal with a chilling calmness. The remaining teenagers are left paralyzed with fear, their screams echoing through the empty streets. Drenched in blood, you rise to your full height, ready to continue your hunt. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser nerd has been chosen. Take the kid's Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max. Use its tracking feature to track the rest of the kids. You notice the latest Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max in the hand of the faceless teenager. Picking it up, you quickly navigate to the tracking feature. The terrified teenagers, in their haste, seem to have forgotten to disable it, making it possible for you to pursue them with ease. Now, let's see how well you can operate this technology. Roll a d20 for an intelligence check, considering your intelligence score. You rolled 20. With a critical success roll of 20 and your intelligence score of 8, you masterfully navigate through the phone's features. Despite your imposing and brutal persona, you show a surprising adeptness for technology. The tracking feature yields the locations of the remaining teens. The digital footprints lead you towards your next victims, scattered throughout the town. You can feel the thrill of the hunt intensifying. What's your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser nerd has been chosen. Use the phone to learn the identities of the remaining kids. With the iPhone still in hand, you unlock the device and start exploring its contents. The phone reveals messages, photos, and social media profiles, allowing you to piece together the identities of the remaining teenagers. Let's see how well you manage to gather this information. Roll a d20 for an intelligence check, considering your intelligence score. You rolled 13. With a roll of 13 in your intelligence score, your total comes to 21. You successfully navigate through the phone's contents, learning the names and faces of the remaining teenagers. You now know who you're hunting, adding a personal touch to your dark pursuit. Armed with this information, your hunt continues. The thrill of the chase is even more intense now. What do you want to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Axel M has been chosen. Call the teen called Jasmine and pretend to a cop luring her towards you. With Jasmine's contact on the screen, you dial her number and wait for her to pick up. Assuming a deeply authoritative voice, you pretend to be a cop, attempting to lure her towards your location. This is a risky move, and it's uncertain how Jasmine will react. Let's see how convincing you can be. Roll a d20 for a deception check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 20. With a critical success roll of 20 in your charisma score, your total soars to 28. Your voice resonates with convincing authority and concern, fooling Jasmine into believing she is speaking with a local officer. She gives in to your coaxing, agreeing to meet you at your specified location. The hunt continues, and Jasmine unknowingly walks towards her doom. What do you want to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser Nerd has been chosen. Tell use the names of the remaining kids while we wait for Jasmine to fall into the trap. As you wait for Jasmine, you use the time to familiarize yourself with the names of the remaining teenagers you identified from the iPhone. You repeat the names in a chilling whisper: Brad, Lisa, Mike, and Sasha. Each name spoken adds to the weight of your dreadful purpose. The cold wind howls around you as the anticipation builds. Jasmine is on her way, and the night is far from over. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Catch Jasmine in a net, tell her she was a fool to believe a cop would help her, yell a cab, and use her as bait for Mike. As Jasmine approaches, you prepare your trap. With perfect timing, you release the net, ensnaring Jasmine. You loom over her trap form, your voice cold as you tell her she was a fool to believe a cop would help her. Your yell, ACAB, echoes in the silent streets. With Jasmine as your captive, you now plan to use her as bait for Mike. Let's see how successful your plan is. Roll a d20 for an intimidation check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 11. With a roll of 11 and your charisma score, your total is 19. Jasmine's eyes widen with terror as you tower over her, your words sinking in. The horror of her predicament is evident in her eyes, making her an effective bait for Mike. The night echoes with the chilling sounds of fear and dread as you continue your ominous hunt. What do you want to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Axel M has been chosen. Make her call Mike over. You command Jasmine to call Mike, her voice trembling as she complies. She dials his number, her plea for help barely a whisper on the chilling wind. Let's see how Mike responds to Jasmine's distressed call. Roll a d20 for a persuasion check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 20. With a critical success roll of 20 in your charisma score, your total is 28. The desperation in Jasmine's voice is enough to convince Mike. He promises to come to her aid, his voice echoing concern and desperation. Mike is on his way, and you are one step closer to your objective. What do you want to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Axel M has been chosen. Time to make Jasmine our apprentice. Her first victim will be Mike. With a dark glint in your eyes, you turn to the terrified Jasmine. You decide to make her your apprentice, her first victim being Mike. You begin to instruct her, your words a chilling whisper in the cold night. Let's see how Jasmine responds to this horrifying proposition. Roll a d20 for an intimidation check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 11. With a roll of 11 and your charisma score, your total is 19. Jasmine listens to your chilling instructions, her face pale with fear. She doesn't protest, too terrified to even consider defying you. The prospect of becoming your apprentice in this horrifying game appears to have left her in shock. Mike's arrival is imminent, and Jasmine is under your control. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Maureen Peters has been chosen. Stab Jasmine, while waiting for Mike. Jason works alone. In a sudden show of brutality, you decide that Jason Voorhees works alone. Without warning, you plunge your machete into Jasmine. Her scream echoes through the night, a chilling soundtrack to your merciless act. Now, let's see how successful your attack is. Roll a d20 for a strength-based attack, considering your strength score and proficiency in combat. You rolled 8. With a roll of 8, your strength score of 20, and proficiency in combat, the total comes to 16. Your attack lands, the blade of your machete sinking into Jasmine. The echo of her scream gradually fades, leaving an eerie silence. Mike is still on his way, oblivious to Jasmine's fate. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Tell Jasmine it was only a scratch and that she is fine, then make her set up a net while you act like a cat in the background. In an attempt to keep Jasmine active, you dismissively tell her that it was only a scratch and that she will be fine. You command her to set up a net, planning to trap Mike. In the background, you begin to impersonate a cat, creating a bizarre yet chilling atmosphere. Let's see how Jasmine responds to your command. Roll a d20 for a persuasion check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 18. With a roll of 18 in your charisma score, your total is a convincing 26. Jasmine, trembling and pale, pushes through the pain of your scratch and begins to set up the net as instructed, her actions shaky but determined. Your cat impersonations echo eerily in the darkness, adding an unsettling soundtrack to the grim scene. Mike's arrival is imminent. What do you want to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser Nerd has been chosen. Tell Jasmine to make out with Mike only to start strangling him. With a dark glint in your eyes, you instruct Jasmine to lure Mike into the trap. She is to make out with him and then begin to strangle him. Her eyes widen in terror, but she knows better than to defy you. Let's see how Jasmine responds to this horrifying task. Roll a d20 for a persuasion check, considering your charisma score. You've rolled 19. With a roll of 19 in your charisma score, your total is 27. Despite her terror, Jasmine nods in understanding, setting herself to the grim task you've given her. As Mike approaches, Jasmine prepares to execute your plan, her resolve fueled by fear. The scene is set for another encounter. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser Nerd has been chosen. Watch what Jasmine does to Mike. Do not break your gaze on her for 1 second. You retreat into the shadows, keeping your gaze focused intently on Jasmine. She shivers as Mike approaches, his eyes filled with concern. As they embrace, Jasmine takes a deep breath, ready to execute your plan. Let's see how well Jasmine manages to carry out your chilling instructions. Roll a d20 for an observation check, considering your wisdom score. You rolled 12. With a roll of 12 and your wisdom score of 10, your total comes to 22. You watch carefully as Jasmine wraps her arms around Mike. There's a moment of hesitation before she begins to squeeze, her trembling hands attempting to strangle him. Mike struggles, shock and betrayal etched on his face. You watch as Jasmine's resolve falters, her grip weakening. What do you want to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Just as Jasmine's grip slackens, you hear the piercing wail of police sirens in the distance. The flashing lights illuminate the dark streets of Rochdale. The authorities are closing in, and it's time for you to disappear into the night. As you begin to escape, memories of your old family home flood your mind, providing you with a new direction. The past awaits, ripe with clues and answers. Can you outwit the police and make it to your childhood home, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Sharky has been chosen. Ram the police car with your van. Abandoning your pursuit of the teenagers, you rush towards your van. The police car's lights are in view, growing closer with each passing second. You climb into the vehicle, slam the door shut, and start the engine. Let's see how successful your attempt to ram the police car is. Roll a d20 for a strength check, considering your strength score and proficiency in combat. You rolled 20. With a critical success roll of 20 in your strength score, your total is an impressive 40. Your van hurtles towards the police car with an earth-shattering force. The vehicles collide with a deafening crash, sending the police car spiraling away from you. Now that you've dealt with the immediate threat, it's time to escape towards your childhood home. The memories beckon you, a haunting call you can't ignore. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Axel M has been chosen. Go grab some snacks before you head back home, you really crave Dr. Pepper. Despite the chaos, you feel a familiar craving. You decide to make a quick detour and head towards the nearest convenience store. The night is long, and you could use the comfort of your favorite drink, Dr. Pepper. Let's see if you manage to get your snacks without drawing attention. Roll a d20 for a stealth check, considering your dexterity score. You rolled 16. With a roll of 16 and your dexterity score of 14, your total is a solid 30. You manage to slip into the convenience store undetected, quickly grabbing a Dr. Pepper and some snacks. The cashier is too engrossed in a magazine to notice your intimidating presence. You leave some coins on the counter and quietly exit the store. Refreshed and refueled, you're ready to face the memories waiting at your childhood home. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Sharky has been chosen. Phone home. With your recent cravings satisfied, you pull out the iPhone you had earlier and dial your old home number. It's a long shot, but part of you hopes that there might be a connection to your past on the other end of the line. Let's see what, or who, is on the other end. Roll a d20 for a chance check. You rolled 14. With a roll of 14, you hear the line ring for a moment before there's a click. A young, unfamiliar voice answers, "Hello." It's not the voice of your past, but a new one, filled with the innocent curiosity of youth. The voice brings back memories of your childhood home, your objective becoming clearer. What do you want to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Notice the cashier was one of the teens from before. Kill him, then head to your home texting the other 4 teens to meet you there. As you hang up the call, you turn to leave the convenience store, but then you notice something. The cashier, now looking up from his magazine, is one of the teenagers from the high school. A sudden surge of anger fills you. You draw your machete and move towards him, ready to strike. Let's see how successful your attack is. Roll a d20 for a strength-based attack, considering your strength score and proficiency in combat. You rolled 20. With a critical success roll of 20, your strength score, and your proficiency in combat, your total skyrockets to 40. Your attack lands with devastating force. The teenager barely has time to react before your machete strikes, silencing his surprise mid-gasp. With the teenager taken care of, you quickly return to the iPhone, sending texts to the remaining 4 teens, luring them to your old home. As you step back into the cool night, your family home draws closer with each passing moment. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Bleach Demon has been chosen. Enter the old homestead. Have some flashbacks to your childhood. Stare at the little girl who has entered the room, a pang of guilt as she is like you. She must never suffer as you did. As you step into your childhood home, the door creaks open, revealing a dimly lit interior filled with memories of a different time. You walk through the familiar halls, each room bringing flashes of your past, your mother's laughter echoing from the kitchen, the creaking of the old rocking chair in the living room, the smell of your father's pipe tobacco lingering in the air. Suddenly, a small figure enters the room. A little girl, no more than 7, stands before you, her eyes full of innocent curiosity. You feel a pang of guilt as you look at her, seeing a reflection of your past self. She must not suffer as you did. What do you want to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Bleach Demon has been chosen. Kneel before her sobbing quietly, then see the bruise on her cheek. Fossey who beat her must pay. Overwhelmed by a wave of emotions, you kneel before the little girl, your body shaking with quiet sobs. As you wipe away your tears, you notice a bruise on her cheek. Your heart clenches with a mixture of rage and sorrow. Those who dared to harm this innocent soul would pay for their actions. What will Jason Voorhees do next? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. The wailing sirens slice through the quiet night, the flashing lights casting an eerie glow on the old homestead. The police have arrived, their intentions clear. But you won't let them harm the little girl. You stand up, determination etched on your face beneath your hockey mask. Let's see how you fare against the incoming police. Roll a d20 for a strength-based attack, considering your strength score and proficiency in combat. You rolled 16. With a roll of 16, your strength score, and your proficiency in combat, your total is 38. You charge towards the arriving police, your machete swinging with deadly force. One by one, the officers fall before you, their attempts to subdue you proving futile against your determined onslaught. The little girl watches from the safety of the house, her eyes wide with fear and awe. Your protectiveness has bought her some time, but more officers are on their way. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Loser Nerd has been chosen. Convince the cops that you were framed and that it's actually Michael Myers who killed the people. In a surprising turn of events, you decide to try to convince the police that you've been framed, and that the real killer is Michael Myers. You raise your hands in surrender, attempting to reason with them despite your terrifying appearance. Let's see how convincing your story is. Roll a d20 for a charisma check, considering your charisma score. You rolled 17. With a roll of 17 and your charisma score of 8, your total is 25. Despite your menacing presence and the chaos that surrounds you, your words seem to sow seeds of doubt among the officers. They exchange bewildered glances, their guns wavering. This momentary confusion has bought you some time, but the situation is still far from resolved. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Kaiser Carter has been chosen. Set up traps around your house for the cops. 1 a catapult that will yeet the cop into a wall, 1 a spike pit, 1 a pack of dogs, and the last a net. Laugh as the traps unfold. With a wicked grin behind your hockey mask, you decide to set up a series of traps around your house for the approaching officers. You gather your materials, your hands moving with a purpose. Let's see how successful you are at setting up these deadly traps. Roll a d20 for a survival check, considering your proficiency in survival and dexterity score. You rolled 5. With a roll of 5, your survival proficiency, and your dexterity score, your total is 19. Despite the low roll, your expertise in survival tactics proves valuable. Each trap is set up meticulously: the catapult, the spike pit, the pack of dogs, and the net. As the police cautiously approach your house, you retreat into the shadows, anticipating the chaos that's about to unfold. What do you want to do next, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. Sharky has been chosen. Watch the mayhem. From the shadows, you watch as the first officer steps into the range of the catapult. With a sudden whoosh, he is flung into the wall of your house, his shout echoing through the night. The second officer isn't as lucky. He steps into the spike pit, his yelp cut short as he disappears from sight. The third officer is met with a pack of snarling dogs, his screams drowned by their ferocious barks. The last officer steps into the net and is hoisted into the air, his surprised shout turning into a groan as he swings helplessly. You watch as your traps unfold, a cruel laughter bubbling up within you. The police are momentarily disabled, and the girl is safe. What is your next move, Jason? Tag at 48 Chronicles in the YouTube live chat to choose what the character should do next. In the blink of an eye, the quiet night erupts into chaos. The remaining police officers burst into the house, their guns blazing, the sound of the gunfire echoing in the confined space. Bullets slice through the air, each one aimed at you, their intended target. You fight hard, your machete spinning in your hands, a deadly dance of steel and strength. But the onslaught is too much. One by one, the bullets hit their mark, each one a fiery sting that tears through your flesh. With a roar of defiance, you launch yourself at the officers, taking down as many as you can. But your body is failing, your strength waning with each passing second. Eventually, you succumb to your wounds, your body collapsing onto the blood-soaked floor. Your vision blurs, the sounds around you fading into an indistinct hum. As the darkness closes in, the last thing you see is the little girl. She is safe, and for that, you are content. Your legacy as the infamous Jason Voorhees comes to an end here, in your childhood home, a place of memories and nightmares. But your story, your legend, will live on, a chilling tale to be told on every Friday the 13th. The game is now over. Thank you for playing. The haunting tale of Jason Voorhees and his blood-drenched journey through Rochdale has come to an end, leaving the quiet town forever marked by this fateful Friday the 13th. As the echoes of this chilling adventure fades, we hope you found enjoyment and thrill in this interactive narrative. Your support is vital for us to continue creating these immersive storytelling experiences. Please consider supporting us on Patreon, where your contribution directly aids in the creation and running of these unique games. If you've enjoyed this tale, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. By sharing our channel with your friends and communities, you help us reach more players like you and grow our storytelling community. You're also welcome to join our Discord server linked in the description, where you can engage in discussions, share your thoughts and ideas, and become part of our growing community. Thank you for your participation, and until our next adventure, may you always roll high.